What is going on, guys? Blend Boy Tutorials here, and today I'm here with another tutorial which is going to be making a semi-stylized slash semi-realistic mountain in Blender with a lake and maybe some other things. We'll have some fun with it. We'll make it very nice and cozy. So yes, my screencast keys are on. The last tutorial that I made was very well accepted by the amount of audience that I have right now. But to get more audience, you gotta work, and this is my work. So I'm going to select every single thing, delete it. First of all, going to edit preferences, trigger. Check this box right here on the add-on called Ant Landscape. This is the main star of the show here. So when you have done that, if you go into mesh, you can see Ant Landscape. Add that. We got a nice little landscape on our hands. Now this little bar has popped up, another noise tool, landscape. Let's click that. This has a lot of things which we can customize to fullest. We can change the subdivisions, mesh size, the noise type, noise basis, random seed, offset, and a lot of stuff. So first of all, I'm going to make a very kind of like tall-ish mountain which has like valleys which are large enough to support a lake. So let's customize that. I'm going to keep these subdivisions low. I'm going to increase them later when I'm happy with my design. Actually, I might just drop them down to 75 each so that my computer doesn't explode. Actually, you know what, maybe 64 too. Yeah, there we go. And let's go to hetero terrain. Let's look for a cool one. This one looks ridiculously similar. Hybrid M fractal. FBM fractal. This looks pretty cool. It's got valleys, but let's look for something else. Turbulence. This looks cool as well. Distorted noise gives us distorted noise. Marble gives us, well, it's like marble. If we can increase the noise size, we'll get a marble type effect. I guess I'll leave the noise size at 0.5 so we can at least see some of the patterns. We got shattered terrain, which looks like if you want to make like an airplane flying through some types of mountains or whatever. Strata edge terrain, we got a lot of stuff. Another noise. Let's look through some of the most interesting things. Noise rocks, that's pretty cool. Planet noise, that's pretty cool as well. Blender texture nodes. Use texture nodes. Okay, it's telling us to use texture nodes in this. Well, I like turbulence. Turbulence is a pretty good noise system, and I gotta use it. This is too much rocky geometry right here, so I am going to where did that go? Noise size. I'm going to increase the noise size a little bit till that point is gone. Let's make it 0.75 because I like rounding up stuff. We need to make it a little bit taller though. So height, we can increase the height a lot, like 0.91. Let's make it 1. Maximum height, let's set this to 5. There we go. I think this looks pretty good. If we can make it even taller. Let's make it 1.25 just for good measure. There we go. Very nice. So we've got this cool looking terrain. We can use display settings. We can use offset, which will either shift the entire thing underground or shift it like overground. But I'll keep this at like a little bit minus 0.25. No, actually that's a little bit too low. A little up. I think 0 was okay. There we go. It's going pretty deep. It's fine. Maximum, minimum, we can adjust that. Fall off XY, we can adjust the edge fall off. That how is this going to end? So if I reduce the fall off, you can see the noise gets reduced. And if I increase the fall off, you can see the noise continues on to the edges. Great. Add water plane. Of course, this is our water plane. This is going to be the water of the plane. Dots stroke, I do not know what that is. What? Let's apply this. I don't know. Level, we can adjust the level of the water plane, which is great. I like to keep it a little bit below, like it's at the foothills of the mountains. This looks very nice. This looks kind of weird though. It's not supposed to be there, so I'm gonna move it a little bit down there, maybe a little bit up, like so. Nope. Well, I guess minus 0.01. Nope, minus 0.1. Yeah, there we go. That is pretty good. And let me increase the subdivisions now then, like 128. Nice, look at that. It looks pretty nice in HD. We can even make it 256 if you want to, but I keep the base subdivisions a little bit lower so that I can adjust them higher later. But this is actually a good example of what we're gonna get. But I'm gonna still go to 128 so that you can get some like of these non-sharp edges. We can adjust some things like lacunarity. Or is that not with this type of noise system? I think it's not with this type of, yep, it's not with this type of noise system. As you can see, there is a slider for Jesus Christ, lacunarity. There we go, which is like, I guess, the sharpness of these little things coming off of here. So we also have different effects like gradient. We have waves. We have tech. It makes like cell noise into it. It's very cool. Cracks. We have rock. It's pretty damn good. Cosine, that's like Matt's functions, I guess. Flat turb, flat Voronoi, dots, rings. It's very good. It's very good. But we're gonna leave it with none because we want a majestic tall mountain. Great. With the majestic tall mountain in place, it is time to do some cleanup work. And for that cleanup work, I am going to be doing some sculpting on this. We're going to hide the water plane first of all. We're going to go into the sculpting space. And we are going to active object, select this, and then control tab like this and select sculpt mode. It will actually already be in sculpt mode by default, but I messed some stuff up, so just ignore that. We need this like little lake to be smooth, like no thing should be poking up out of here. Actually, if they even are like so, let's make them a little bit more pokeable. Let's make it like a little bit up. Let's make it like a little island. So I'm just gonna use the draw brush and grab this little piece up, which is great, and expand it on some sides, just like gently tapping. Take the grab brush and move the tops like a little bit down. I don't want the island to be so sharp. It's kind of too sharp at this point. There we go. This little pebble needs to go in under the water. Sorry, Mr. Pebble. There we go. We can do some little smooth work on these extremely strong peaks right here, like these ones. We can just like smooth them down, like gently tap, or you can like adjust the strength of your smooth brush. Like, I don't need this right there. This is too sharp. These are too sharp. Just like smooth everything down a little bit. The mountain is supposed to be spiky, not the rest of the environment. There we go. This is looking pretty good. Actually, one other thing I would like to do with the mountain is like grab it and make it a little bit higher, like the tip, the very tip. Just like make it a little bit higher. There we go. And like push this surrounding stuff a little in. There we go. Looks like a majestic mountain. This is a little bit too high to be part of the mountain surrounding it, so I'm gonna push it down as well. It's kind of stealing the show here, and we do not want that. Sorry. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now we are going to apply a subdivision surface modifier to it. Actually, we can do multi-resolution as well, but it doesn't really matter. Subsurf level 1 is giving us 65,000 words. Level 2 is giving us 259,000 instead. I think we should go with level 2 just for extra detail. Apply this. As you can see, it has become part of the geometry, which is very nice. And now we can go into the sculpting space and we can actually start adding some like high definition detail. So I'm gonna pull this point really high up, and I'm going to use a pinch brush, I think. Yep, pinch brush, to like really pucker it up. Who is calling me on Discord? Holy crap. I thought I turned myself to do not disturb. Okay. Let's like pinch it up like really nice and tight. As you can see, I'm going to make it like ridiculously tipped. There we go. That's pretty good. And this part as well, I'm gonna make it very nice and nicely tipped. Great. Nice. Another grab, I guess, should do the trick. There we go. It's looking pretty nice. For this little island we got here, It doesn't really look like an island. It looks like a rock protruding out of the floor, and maybe that's what you want, but I would like to make it a little island. So I'm going to smooth it out with the smooth brush first of all, and after it has been smoothed out, I'm going to take a grab brush and I'm going to slightly pull out sections of this island. It's like to merge nicely with the water, like ever so slightly, like so. There we go, very nice. And put this to a little bit down. It's too high of an island. There we go. It's got a little slope. I'm gonna flatten that, and nice. This island is looking a little bit without any detail, so we're gonna do a really cool sculpting trick. I'm gonna use the clay brush, but as you can see, it doesn't have too much texture. We're going to add our own texture, and it's a very cool way of doing so. It uses like generated noises. So we're going to go right here to the texture space in our sculpting, like it's right here, active tool and workplace settings. We're going to add a new texture. We're going to set the mapping to random so that it doesn't look too tiled. We're going to go into the texturing space, image or movie. We're going to turn that into clouds. That's going to be pretty cool now. Now, since it is going to be clouds, there we go, it takes the time to update. And now if you paint over it, oh come on, it always does that. Clouds, there we go. And now if we paint over it, it is going to be pretty damn cool. Look at that, it's even showing like the intensity of that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at that, we can put like a few bumps in the floor right here, and then the island. That's pretty cool. If you want, we can even turn on dynamic topology and make this like super detailed, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that. Enable Dyn Topo detail size, let's set that to 3 instead. There you go, look at that. Look at that rocky little island. Nice. The shore is a little bit too normal, I would say. Let's make that a little bit rocky as well. I like the foothills. I'm just gonna like tone it down like ever so slightly, like 0.5 I guess. Whoop, that's a little bit too much. Taps right there, taps, just taps. There we go, like a few taps. And as we go up the mountain, I'm gonna reduce the strength of it. Very nice. I'm gonna smooth the excess out like very subtly on the shore as well, like just like a light coat of smooth. There we go. Let's turn this a little bit down, more down, which is appreciable. And let's go back to the clay brush. Let's add some more of that texture. Whoops, that is horrifyingly wrong. Please restore yourself. The edge is not straight. The edge needs to be straight. There we go. We can increase the power now, make the shoreline a little bit more rocky, make the rocks a little bit more rocky, which, you know, I think it makes sense. Rocks are supposed to be rocky. So it's kind of tedious, but this is the important stuff. This is the stuff you can't afford to miss out on. This is the little micro details that'll make your scene really pop and look awesome. So just like do this for a couple of rocks, which are not even like, these are looking in the scene. The ones that are behind, which are not probably going to be rendered, just don't bother, so I'm not gonna make them. Great, look at that, it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. If we enable smooth shading, we can take a look at it with smooth shading. It looks pretty good. So we have our mountain here, and it looks savage. It looks pretty damn good. Now it is time to texture this, and I mean shade it. Texturing, shading, it's the same thing basically. Yeah, so let's do this now then. Go into the shading workspace. I'm gonna go on close to the mountain a little bit, and we are going to be starting our shading adventures right here. I'm going to set up a HDRI first so that it looks like how it looks with dynamic lighting. It's very important. So I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna add my own HDRI from the folder that I have right there. It's HDRI of Ocean. I just want it for the lighting. That's all. I added it in the blend. I added it in Blender, so now it is in the cache, so I can just load it with the environment texture. If I go to rendered now, I have the HDRI, which is great, fantastic. I went into world here by the way, if you did not notice that. Amazing. We are going to actually do one last thing. Oh my god, there's so much stuff right there. Select the outer edge and like kind of expand it so the water plane is covered fully. Actually no, it deforms with the geometry then. I guess I'll just like extrude it beneath. That makes more sense, I guess. There we go. I'll extrude it beneath. You can fill it in there if you want. I'm not gonna fill it, it's fine. Nobody's looking down there anyways. We're gonna actually make the water first. What is this dot stroke? I don't even know. I selected it at the beginning of the tutorial. Let's just not do that. I'm getting a lot of messages. So we're gonna add a new material. Just give me a second. Just give me 1 second, will ya? Okay, we are back. It was just some messages from my dear friend, and we are gonna make the water first. So we have the water plane here, right here, selected. Actually, you know what? To give this a little bit of a depth, I'm going to extrude the water plane below the surface of the mountain, just till where it touches the bottom. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna just like recalculate normals just in case. Shift N is recalculate normals. And now let's give it some definition. Let's give it some watery effects. Water is generally having some sort of volume, so we're gonna go with the principle to volume. Attach that to the water. Volume doesn't render quite well in EV, but since this is a cube, it's not gonna be that big of a problem anyways. If you want to render it like without these jaggies, you can go into your volumetrics. You can change the tile size to like 2 or 4 pixels, so that's finer. Crank up the samples to 80, enable volumetric shadows, and yeah, you should be pretty good when volume actually comes to it. You can like increase the density a lot, and yes, it actually is dense, but for the sake of sakes, I'm going to switch over to cycles because it's a ray traced rendering engine, and what else could I ever want in my life? As you can see, the water plane is kind of protruding a little bit out, so I'm gonna just like crunch that in ever so slightly so that it does not go out of the walls. There we go. The water kind of looks like tar right now. We do not want that. Crank the density up to 1. As you can see, it has volume now. It's actually going deeper. Like the volume is kind of increasing. It's making a very black patch right here, as opposed to say something like just like a plain depth all the way down. And we can even see the foothill of the mountain, which is amazing. Let's crank it a little bit higher actually. Yeah, to like 2.5. Change the color attribute to this. Actually, you know what? Don't change the color of the volume at all. We'll change that later. Add a glass BSDF and connect that to the surface. Yes, there you go. This is the water we am talking about, baby. Great. What are we going to do? We are going to color it a water-like color. This is a little bit too intense. I'm probably gonna go something like this. Yeah, this is like a little bit less intense. There we go. This is very good. Hex. I'm gonna copy the hex code. Go over here to the color. Copy the hex code right here. Actually, you know what? Maybe I could make it like a little bit bluer, so that as like down it goes, it becomes a little bit more bluer. But water is not really like that blue. That's like Prussian blue. That's ridiculously blue. So I gotta make it look a little bit lighter towards this side. There we go. Very nice. Look at that. We got ourselves some nice water. I have another rendering engine by the way, which is called LuxCore. We can take a look at it in LuxCore as well. If I click on use cycle settings, there we go. It has an inbuilt denoiser, which acts after 10 seconds, I'm pretty sure. LuxCore denoiser, nope. It's in LuxCore viewport settings. So let's set this to 5. It's gonna denoise it now. It's actually pretty good, but it doesn't always work. For example, the glass BSDF, that works. It's not taking the volume input at all. If you notice right now, look at this. It doesn't even care about the volume whatsoever. This is not volumetrics. This is not good. So we're gonna go to cycles. LuxCore has its own like varieties of shaders and whatnot. It uses its own shaders basically. So yeah, we have the water right here. It looks pretty fine. We can create like a gradient to control the color of the water as it goes down. I guess I'm gonna try doing that. I have never really tried making a gradient to control the color of water. Let's go into material preview, disconnect the volume right here. Actually go into rendered view mode. If you want to see something transparent in EV, it's actually pretty simple. Go into the render settings, render properties, go into screen space reflections, check it and check refraction, and then select your material, go down into the settings and check screen space refraction, and it's going to refract all the way through, which is great. This is our gradient. If we take a look at the gradient, it's just a gradient like this. We wanted to go down like so. We wanted to go down like in this direction. It should be kind of like yeah, it should be black towards the top, and it should be going towards blue at the bottom. So yes, I'm going to attach a mapping node to it. I'm gonna make it, yeah, the linear is fine. It's fine, absolutely. Let's hide the mountain for a second, like just a quick sec. It's going from this direction. I don't want it to go from that direction. If we change the location of this, we can control which way it is actually going to go. If I control Y, nothing really happens because the gradient is itself on x-axis, I think. Yeah, it's just kind of it's kind of oof. I do not like it that much. So yeah, let's try to get it from top to down. Maybe I'm gonna do like what's called like separate XYZ. Yeah, exactly. If I actually type XYZ, what does pop up? XYZ, combine XYZ and separate XYZ. Yes. So if I go into like texture coordinates mapping, if I input a vector, I can separate the Z location and the X and the Z. It's all pretty good. I can then like, I'm pretty sure I can control with the color ramp. Yep, I can. Z axis. Let's feed the Z axis into it. There we go. Look at that. Now it's taking the Z component, which is going top to down, and it's controlling that. So I'm going to actually flip these inputs so that the black is towards the top, because in Blender, black means 0 and white means 1. So we're gonna actually, let's see if we set it to B-spline. It's actually way too smooth. If I set it to B-spline, maybe. I think that's fine. No, I think linear should do the trick. Linear is a little bit too harsh for my liking. It's actually completely black at the top. Let's set a B-spline and let's make it go down like so. There we go. I can almost see like there's no line there. Yep, that's pretty good. Let's set it to 0.5. There we go. That's B-spline right there. And that's connected to the gradient texture. Let's connect that to the color. Take this a little bit back. Use a color ramp node right here. Use this as well with it. That's the wrong input. Alpha. There we go. We can change the black to be like completely transparent, and we can change the white to be like a sort of a little bluish color. You can crank it up all the way. You're gonna input them to glass BSDF and take a look at it right now. There we go. As you can see, it's white towards the very bottom. I'm gonna crank up the blue a little bit up, and I'm gonna change this to B-spline as well. There we go. Actually turn the white a little bit bluish, like just ever so slightly. There we go, and make this like a darker variant of blue, like dark, like really dark. There we go. Just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. My mom's calling. What is going on, guys? I'm back. I had my Zoom class right now. I know Zoom is banned in India. Shh. They haven't adapted yet. Okay. We were making the water. Oh god, I'm gonna have another goddamn tuition. I really do not want to. Guys, come on, before the tuition actually occurs, let's try and make this water. There we go. We are gonna make it like extremely light. We're gonna add another interpolation layer like right here. I'm gonna stretch it up, bring it a little bit closer. There we go. I think they should be fine for the water. And the principal volume just goes into the volume, and I think it'll be fine. Just like going to cycles now. Yep. Take a look-see. Is it working? Is it working? I don't know. Actually, I think I need to put. I ought to put this same color ramp in there as well. That would actually make a lot of sense for the density socket of this, so that it goes down. Yeah, density. Put that to density. Put that to the volume, and yeah, and, have at shit. Have at it. I mean, whatever. I'm stupid. There we go. I think the density is working. Great. Let's move it a little bit up. Let's add a math node. Since it's 0 to 1, we can like multiply the power. I guess I'm gonna multiply by like 1.5 so that it gains more and more density. It does not being so dense. I'm gonna make it 5. Yeah, it's getting a little denser. It's getting a little denser. Let's go with the 10. Nice. I'm just gonna make this like completely light, I guess, because it's way too dark down there, and I think this looks like it looks great as a variable water density. But I just want to take one single look. If I just connected this to color, what happened? What would happen? Actually, no, even not this. Just connect this to like a RGB wheel. What would happen? Yeah, it would still not make a lot of a difference since the edges are not actually washing up on like a beach or whatever. So, but this is just like a little, it's a little something. I like it. I guess I can crank it a little bit higher towards the surface. Minus this. That is not the right way. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yes. Yeah, it's getting it. I can shift the white a little too much. Add another one, like right here in the middle. Like crank it up as close as you can to the white and make it a little bit less white. There we go. I think this is fine. Okay, we might be having another class. It's not started yet. Okay, so we got water right here. We need to put in some waves. Which is going to be a little bit important. Some waves would be greatly appreciated. So we're going to add a noise texture. That is in the wrong spot. The volume goes into the volume. And we're going to connect this to a bump node. Bump. The factor of the noise is going to go into the height of the normal, and the normal is going to go into the normal of the normal. Going to take a little look-see in EV, disable the volume. Come on. Yeah, there we go. This is a little bit too strong right now, so I'm gonna turn down the strength a little bit, like ever so slightly. 0.15 seems to be good enough. There we go. To add some like light warbles to the water. Connect this to the volume. There we go. Our water is basically ready. Now look at it. It's like completely dark blue down here. You know what I could do to like improve this a little bit, like move it a little bit up, since nothing's gonna be visible beyond that anyways, since it all is like what, like under what, it's too far beyond the volume to be able to see. I'm pretty sure if I like stretch it down there. Yeah, it's too deep, so I'm gonna move it up. There we go. Now it's actually giving some of the bluish color, which is great. Okay, the water is finally done. Here's the entire node network. It's actually pretty simple, and yeah, it looks like stylized water. It doesn't look too realistic because I think I made it a little bit too blue. Yeah, I could crank down the blue a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I think that suffices. Turn up the vibrancy. The vibrancy is all the way up there, which is great. Okay. Coolio. Now for the mountain. For the mountain. The mountain is going to be a combination of an extremely... It's a complicated node network. It's not that difficult, but it's semi-difficult. So we have a pre-made material right here. And yes, we are going to be using image textures. We're going to use a snow image texture, and we are going to be using a rock image texture. We're going to blend them in a mask that makes sense. We're going to blend them in a mask. We're going to bring... Jesus Christ. We're going to blend them using a mask that makes sense. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool looking. I'm gonna link the texture websites down below. It's probably cc0textures.com. I'm not using anything from Polygon this time. They don't have rock textures, which are free, and I'm a cheap bastard. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, let's use this now. Okay, we have our principal BSDF. We are going to be putting in the rock texture. I'm gonna actually go into Eevee for this, since it's not really like compulsory to use this in cycles. This is gonna make me ridiculously irritated, so I'm gonna turn off the principal volume for a sec. Look at that water, dude. Damn. If I hide it, look at that water. Can I move it a little bit up? Like a little bit up? Can move like this? Look at this, it looks so beautiful. It looks savage, dude. But you can't see it, right? I mean, I don't think it allows to see it Eevee at least, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks like liquid sapphire. And I'm admiring the water. We're gonna put in some textures. I'm going to go into my textures place where I have stored my textures. And we're going to be using some textures. We're gonna probably use Rock 20, I think was one right here. Let's take a look how it looks. It looks like rock, which belongs in a mountain, I guess. So we're gonna use that. But there's one thing which is known as the Polygon Material Converter node, which blends together normals like very nicely. And I'm pretty sure I have it in like the group. It's like down below somewhere. Maybe it is, I don't know. But it is in here. The textures folder, if I just like go, I don't know why it just saves it that way. Textures, there we go. Maybe Rock 20 is in here somewhere. Rust, nope. There is no Rock 20. Well, I guess I'm gonna put in some wood planks because I'm pretty sure that comes with, it loads the node into memory. It's applying wood onto the mountain. It's not gonna work my way. That's not how it works. There it is, Pbr Mixer. It's amazing, and we're gonna use that. Material, group Pbr Mixer. It takes one base color. Actually, it has factors for like a mask as well, which is absolutely amazing. Download this add-on right now. It comes with the Polygon Material Converter, which is linked in many of Blender Guru's videos. I'll still try to link it if I have the link. But if you search a Polygon Material Converter download, you will get this. Okay, it's spelled Poliigon Material Converter, and you can download it. If I take a look at the node tree, it's a lot of stuff, so I'm not gonna do that. This is the rock. It's actually base color, metalness, roughness, normal, and displacement all together. We're gonna take displacement, and we're gonna take normal, and we're gonna take roughness. We're gonna take even ambient occlusion as well. Hell, why not? Let's take the ambient occlusion with the rock and mix that together with a way that it makes sense. It's usually like just multiply it. That's the wrong one. Mix RGB. Yep, there we go. Attach it. We're gonna turn it to multiply. Nice. Color goes into the color, obviously. The displacement goes into displace. It's gonna be set to non-color data first of all. I'm gonna actually shrink this down a little bit so that's easier to maneuver. I'm gonna put that right there. Put this right there. There goes the displacement. The normal goes into the normal. Turn into non-color data, shrink it down a little bit. we are going to be adding a normal map so that the normal actually can be utilized by Blender. Attach the color input to the color, color output to the color input. Normal goes into the normal. Fantastic. Put that up there, put that up there, put that up there. And we have roughness finally, which is also going to be non-color data, and put the color of the roughness into roughness. Great. I'm gonna move this a little bit up for the sake of arrangeability. That's not a word. So first of all, we've got our first material set up. Fantastic. Second material is going to be a snow, and I'm pretty sure I have some right here. Snow 1. Let's take a look at it. It's got color, it's got displacement, and it's got normals. I'm pretty sure this is used making substance texture. It is made using substance texture. I'm all over the place. Snow color, snow displacement, snow normal, and snow roughness. Great. Snow color is going to go into the color, base color right there. Shrink it down, put it right there. The snow roughness is going to go into the roughness. First of all, non-color data goes into roughness. Shrink it down as well, place it right there. Normal goes into a normal map first, like so, and shrink this down as well, like so. And then finally displacement goes into displacement socket. Shrink this down again, and boom, you have cool stuff. Actually, I am really OCD about this kind of stuff, so I'm gonna move it like that. There we go. Now you got a base color, we got a middleness, we got a roughness, we got everything. If you take a look at this with the viewer, you see nothing is happening because this model is not unwrapped yet. We're gonna unwrap this by using cube projection right now. It's a very simple method. Cube projection, just for the sake of sakes, right now. And well, unwrapping a mountain is basically impossible, so we're probably gonna use cube projection in the end as well. You know, I think that makes sense. What? Oh, what? What is that in the water? What? I'm gonna move this face down there, right? Oh, there it goes. That's bad. I'm gonna move it up. Oh yeah, volume is not included right now. If I include volume, then what happens? Oh, that's the wrong one. Oops. Volume. Yeah, include volume. There we go. It actually, oh yeah, but it was white before. Now it's actually functioning to the light. So this might be a good way of making it actually good. So you're gonna cancel this one, like minus it up. That's the wrong one again. There we go. Now it's using a nice fall off. It's going from like watery kind of color down to extremely deep waters of hell. This needs to be darkened a little bit. Water generally is not that bright. I'm gonna lay down the intensity a little bit as well. Oh, the volume color is that. Hey, I didn't notice that. If I turn the volume color white and I try and make this a little bit bluish, like so. Okay. It's not the blue color that's actually being reflected here then. Right? No, not at all. It's barely visible. It's you can see the residue of the fall off till here, but the blue color is barely visible. So I guess I'm gonna leave it like a little bit down up there. There we go. And yeah, we'll put the volume back where it belongs, which is going to be extremely dark blue as well. I mean, it's the same gradient texture to color the color, obviously. Great. Actually, no. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to move this a little bit down. I'm going to move this a little bit up. I'm going to plug the same factor in, plug the same color in, but I'm going to make the color a little bit brighter. And I'm going to crank a little bit closer, like so. And build a little bit darker. Water's kind of turquoise. It's not really dark blue, is it? No, it's not. There we go. That seems like a good color. That seems like a good everything. I can actually see the warbles in the water due to the stuff and things. There we go. There's our Pbr material mixed. If I increase the factor to 0.5, I do not know why it's not limited by anything. Yeah, it uses factor slider to interpolate between the rock and snow. We need to create a mask now. That's all we need to do. Let's select this entire thing. Let's bring it way like down here. Let's start making a mask out of this mountain. First of all, we are going to be using two methods to create this mask. One is going to be using ambient occlusion, which is basically between the cracks and crevices of a mountain or like any sort of object. You can see like shadows in like tiny spaces, like it occludes. So we're going to be using that, and actually the normal can be plugged into the normal now. The roughness can be plugged into the roughness. Displacement will be plugged into displacement right later. But yeah, ambient occlusion is basically that. Let me take a sip of water, and my throat is dry. There we go. Now we're going to do this. I'm going to attach the BSDF to here, and I'm going to attach the base color to here. There we go. Now it is perfectly shaded. It looks shaded as if it is a real material. First, I think it was emanating light from within. Otherwise, it was like screwing us up. That's probably it. If I just like change it to plain white, like so, that doesn't really make a difference. Maybe if I cut the density, like make it 0. I can see something in there. Yeah, sure. Let's multiply by 1 to have like the slightest bit of density. Maybe 2. Is 2 like a big of a difference? Probably does. Let's leave that be. That looks good enough for the water as it is. And now to the snow. To the mask. We are going to be using a pointiness node first of all. It is in object info. It's called, that's wrong, geometry. Pointiness. There we go. It shows us the pointiness of things. That makes sense. It's this one. Show me the pointiness. Right now it is not influenced by color ramp whatsoever. Oh god. Stop that. It's not influenced by the color ramp whatsoever. That's why there is no like pointiness showing up. But once we like take a color ramp and put like black values closer to each other, like so, there we go. We begin to see pointiness appear. And let's just crank these as close as possible to each other so that we can get the pointiest parts, which are not going to be having snow. That looks ridiculously disturbing for reasons I do not know. Let's increase it by 0.510. Nope, that's a little bit too much. 0.505. There we go. I think this is a pretty good mask right now. This is like a pretty good pointiness right here. If we turn to constant, we'll get like a cartoonish. Actually, we want to look. Turn to linear, we can do B-spline as well for like a really smooth fall off. But I don't want that. These tips are going to be exposed rocks, basically. There we go. And now for the ambient occlusion. One has been created. The ambient occlusion is the ambient occlusion. We're going to use this. You can actually already see it occluding in these areas. You're going to take this, you're going to put it here. We're going to crank it up. Crank it up, crank it up. Ambient occlusion, push it, I guess, towards these areas. Yeah. This looks pretty good, I guess. This area is getting included, this area is getting included, this is getting included. And this is all going to have snow. You can actually put it even closer. Can also this have snow? Sure, why not? Why everything can have snow? No, that's a little bit too much. Everything can have snow. Whoops, just broke the physics. That's a little bit too much right there, so I'm gonna crank it a little bit back. 0.5 seems like actually. No, 0.65. There we go. So we take a look at this. We got the ice tops on there, and if we got this, we're gonna get ice in there, and the rest is going to be rock. We need to invert that mask first of all, because white actually means do not let anything through, and black means do let everything through. So you gotta invert it like so. Invert. Can take a look at the invert, please? The invert is not working. Why? Okay, maybe it's let me just do like a math. Do like greater than 0. Everything greater than 0 is revealed here. Greater than minus, wait a second, greater than minus 0.1. Okay, greater than minus 0.05. Greater than 0. It's a very thick mask. We can also try less than 0.1. It's giving us a ridiculously thick mask. Like it's it doesn't have any fall off, which I am not liking right now. I want it to have fall off. That is one thing I want. There's no dilate and erode feature right here, by the way. We can invert the mask like so. But if I put the value like straight in it, it doesn't work at all for some reason. It actually, I think it is. No, I think it is. I just need to adjust my mask to a different direction. There we go. I think I got it. Yep. There we go. It needs to be 0.5, I think. Exactly. Nope. A little bit closer, maybe. Maybe bring the black a little bit closer. 0.45. 0.425. That's gonna crank it way closer than I actually want. So 0.45 seems fine. Press this and go 0.49. Nope, that's a little bit too much. 0.499. Yep. 0.45. What? 0.499. No, 0.495. There we go. This is a good mask. Why isn't that pointy? That does not even make sense. Why is that not pointy? That doesn't even make sense. We turned it. Oh, wait a second. Factor to 0. It's taking the. This is such a strange node, actually. Okay, there we go. I flipped it ever so slightly, and now you're gonna balance it. 0.5. 0.5. I typed 0.5. So 0.05. It's just about getting the exact right value right there. Great. Black means let ice through. Black means let ice through. I can invert again. No. Can I invert this again? Duplicate and word it again. Jeez, it's so hard to create a goddamn mask. Maybe just like, why am I doing it the other way? Just like, if one isn't working, make the other work. There you go. This is the inverted mask right here. The 0 is going to be the snow, right? Yeah, the 0 is going to be the snow, which was in this case like there. Yeah, it is going to be there. But in this case now the white is going to be the snow. Yeah, it's going to be there, and the snow is going to be there. Yeah, okay. We can like switch out the outputs if we want to make it one thing or the other. You'll get what I'm saying about right now. Let's take a mix RGB, mix it together using multiply to create a nice mask, multiply it all the way, please. Factor 0. Why is it doing the way I want it to be? This is all white, right? Yeah, work. Or we can even try overlay, like 0.5. Yeah, there you go, I think. Yep. We can try all sorts of different formulas. Yeah, add works. Add works. Add definitely works. There we go. We can, yeah, add definitely works. Use this as a factor. Plug this into the factor. Take this entire thing. Put it back. Now view the principal BSDF. Look at that. It's taking a hell of a lot of time to calculate, but we are getting some good results. One thing which is bugging me really right now is that this part of the rock, which is extremely flat, does not have any snow on it, even though it's like not supposed to be pointy. So we're gonna fill with our mask a little bit more, and I'll get back to you when I find the perfect combo. Guys, so I understood the error of my ways. Basically what was happening that the values were not multiplying because I was multiplying 0 with 1, and you know what happens when you multiply 0 with 1? You get 0. I am stupid, and now I have used a very simple blending mode, which is screen. So this gives us much better results. As you can see, like the places where the rock is supposed to be exposed is exposing, and the snow is collecting on the banks and whatnot. It just looks all around decent. Great. Another thing is which leaves much to be desired is the unwrapping, which is amazing. Done by me. It is absolutely awful. I use the cube projection method. I will not be. You cannot unwrap. Okay, you cannot unwrap. You cannot possibly unwrap a mountain with hand unwrapping. It's just not a thing which is possible. Let's take a look at the UV editor. It looks horrendous, absolutely ridiculous. If we take a look at the mapping node, I can bring out a mapping node right here. What we'll do is instead we'll attach this singular. Jesus Christ. Please go back to normal mode. Thank you very much. Material preview. We'll take that instead. Thank you very much. Pointiness is not a thing in material preview, I think. Please, Blender devs really need to add one. Pointiness doesn't really work in material preview, but we don't really care about pointiness right now. All we care is about the rocks. Okay, and I'm going to take a look at that right now. Actually, I can't even distinguish it from the rocks. We can take a look at the snow texture as reference. Okay, let's just take this as a reference. So the snow is tiling like this. Is pretty okay tiling. We can do a little bit better though. I'll put generated coordinates instead and see what happens. If we put generated coordinates, let's attach this to every single node, like image texture there is right now. That is wrong. Put that there and put that there. This one mapping node is attached to every single one of these image textures. Great. Let's just move a little bit down so this line doesn't intersect. This looks horrendously stretched because I think the scale of the mountain is all wrong. But if we go into cycles and take a look, maybe it will look a little bit better with stretch textures instead, because I once unwrapped a mountain by UV projecting the snow texture from it from top side, and it actually came to be looking pretty good, but not in this case. In this case it looks like it looks bad. Okay, it looks just plain up bad. We can use UV coordinates again. That's the wrong place. Vector UV coordinates. We can increase the scale most probably. That will make it look better. So let's put the scale at 0.25. I mean not 0.25, 2.50. And yeah, we have effect here which you might not see right now because it is a lot noisy right now because we are rendering in cycles. But when we denoise it and composite a little bit of this stuff in the end, it will look pretty good. Okay, there we go then. The mapping has been done, the texture looks fine. Let's try a few other methods of texturing just in case. So one of them looks better. I'm going to just take it and I'm going to project from view till bounds. That is the wrong one. I can go and scale to bounds. There we go. And now let's take a look at it. Maybe it looks better, maybe it looks worse, who knows? Let's take a look. It's really hard to tell. Let me go into EV for 1 second. Yeah, the snow is stretched just like before, so I don't think that's gonna work yet. Let's try a Q projection from orthographic view, like so. Actually, not even like the base of the mountain, just like up here. We don't want that. Q projection. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at this now. There we go. It actually looks pretty decently tiled now. Okay then, we're gonna use this method. Alrighty. Q projection from an orthographic view sets the mountain's textures pretty nicely. So now the time is to render. We're gonna center our cursor around the mountain. I'm gonna actually put in a sun lamp for some pretty cool lighting. Bring it a little bit up and bring it a little bit to the y-axis, like right there. Rotate it on the x-axis 45 degrees. Rotate it on the z-axis 45 degrees, so the sun is facing behind, so the shadows are being cast that way. And we'll increase the strength to not 5, that's a little bit too strong. 2.5 maybe? Yeah. And we'll color it like bluish, yes, like the ocean. As you can see, that has made the water sparkle. The water looks very nice. It looks very sparkly, looks very nice. It looks very nice, it looks very sparkly, and it looks very nice. How many times am I going to say the same thing? I do not know, I'm having a stroke. Okay, there we go, the light's been set up. We're gonna take a camera, we're gonna position it in whatever way we want. I'm going to position it looking from top view down there, like so, but we do not want the clipping mountain like right there. So let's go into the layout to see how much mountain is going to be fitting in the scene. If we do it like so, the edges do not clip, but it's not a very dramatic angle now, is it? But at least the edges won't clip, which is always a plus. So I'm gonna move it up, and this looks like a good enough angle as any. Yeah. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And now to render it. If you should render this in cycles, you can render it in EV if you want. It won't look as good, but yeah, you can render this in cycles, and I'll show you compositing. Let me put some sensible render settings on this. Let's make in PNG compression 0 colored at 16. I do not know if these actually really make that big of a difference, but I'm still going to do it. 1080p. We are going to put in denoising data, absolutely 110%. Yes, mist pass. We can take a look at the mist pass. If we go into the camera settings, we can enable mist. I'm pretty sure there's going to be, oh, like I think it's here somewhere. Oh, it's in here. Jesus Christ, I do not know where it is. Should we actually do the mist? I really don't know though. Yeah, there it is. Under the world settings, mist pass, start, this, depth, this, quadratic. Yeah, we can like do linear, we can do quadratic. It was set at quadratic before. So yeah, we're just going to be using that. Okay guys, here it is. The mist is underneath the camera in viewport display. You can check this little box called mist and go into the world properties, and you can select how far the mist begins and how far it ends. I'm gonna place it like directly at the camera, and we're gonna make the depth be like I guess 15 meters or so behind the camera. It'll help us in compositing like a little bit to put in some of that fog. Basically, it'll help us to put volume into our world without actually simulating volumetrics to up to that level. But I think it's time to hit render. I would actually go into performance if I were you, and I would I mean, don't do this what I'm doing right now, threads mode, just leave it automatic if you want. I'm going to do some things. Basically what this is going to say is that I have put both my CPU and my GPU in the queued up references of the you know, like what is Blender going to use to render this image. So I'm going to fix the threads mode because it usually only detects my graphics card and only uses that, but I also wanted to use my CPU as well at the same time. So I put 12 threads for CPU plus 1 for the graphics card, which is great. So I put in fix, and the tile size is basically how large the tile is going to be when rendering, that big tile that comes out. You always do not want it to be super big. Lower tile sizes are good with higher CPU counts, like higher CPU cores, and bigger tile sizes are good with the higher like GPUs, like stronger GPUs, multiple GPUs. I'm going to go in the middle and I'm going to select 128 by 128 pixels. And auto exposure, it can be done. We can also do some color management. It'll leave it at filmic, but we can also like give it some looks, like give it like a high contrast look, I guess, if we really desire. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Very high contrast. We can do none. It looks kind of odd right now. We can put medium contrast, we can put low contrast, we can put very low contrast. I would like very high contrast. That looks very nice to me. It like pops out a lot. So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna start rendering now, and to render, just hit F12. One window will pop up. It'll start calculating all the attributes, and it's gonna start rendering your scene. Whoops! One thing I really forgot was that going to render properties, change the amount of samples during the rendering. Set this to 256 instead, so you'll get higher quality renders. You can also use adaptive sampling. I've never tried that, but yeah, just leave everything else be. You don't need motion blur, film exposure, we don't need transparency. Yeah, it's fine. Let's just start rendering, and when the render is finished, I'll see you and we'll do some basic compositing. There we go, it has rendered, and my goodness does it look awesome. Even without the compositing, it looks pretty good. One thing is just breaking the illusion, which is obviously not making it look like a real mountain, is that the edges are obviously like falling into nothingness. There is ocean behind it, but remember, the ocean is just for lighting. Do not consider it as anything else. This is just to make you know how to make a stylized semi-realistic mountain, not this is a scene and make this, because I don't want people copying every single thing I do and in the end get the exact same results. Make something interesting, make something new, make it a little bit different. So now we're going to do compositing. To do compositing, we're going to go to I'm going to first of all save this D sandbox. Let's call it YT_tutorial_mountain. There we go. Let's go into the compositing tab and let's use nodes. Enable that. You can see we have a render layers node right here. If we shift click it, control shift click it, we can attach it to a viewer, so we can view it in the background. If we press V, we will zoom out. If we press Alt V, we will zoom in. Okay, there we go. Remember the denoising checkbox we activated? Well, look at all these new nodes that we are going to be utilizing to make this image from a little bit of a noisy mess to absolutely amazingness. Now, if we take a look at the mist pass, which is this right here, as you can see, it is basically a very small layer of mist over everything. It's like a fog. We can use that to our advantage. Denoising normal, denoising albedo. This is amazing actually. Denoising image. What is noisy image? Oh, it's just the image. This is the normal for the image, and this is the albedo, just like the basic colors with the refraction. Okay, so that's very nice. Denoising depth. Denoising shadowing, that's the water, that's amazing looking. Denoising variance, ooh. Denoising intensity, denoising clean. There's a lot of random stuff here, okay? A lot of stuff. We have depth here as well. Depth is kind of like a mispass. It's not really, we can see just like the outline. It doesn't matter really that much. We are going to be using the noisy image for the denoising. So if we use a denoise node, let's take a look at the noisy image first of all, okay? As a whole, just take a look at it. As soon as we connect the image to this and we view this, look at what is going to happen. Look at that. Noise, fine grain, all removed. Amazing. But it's still not good. If we attach the noisy image instead, it's going to give us supposedly better results. And if we provide it with all the three inputs, denoising, normal, and albedo, it's going to give us a really high rendition. Yes, the little warbles in the water have been restored. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Now we're going to actually put some glare in the water. We're going to put some glare in the water to make it kind of sparkly. I want to make it a little bit kind of fairy themed. Okay, it's putting glare on the edges of the mountain. If I wanted, I could like cut out a mask and restrict it just to the water. Maybe I will do that. I'll add like fog glow around the mountain, and I'll just put like streaks of glare down there. The threshold is basically the brightness of pixels above which it will start to add the glare effect. So the lower the threshold, the more things will have fog glow. So I think this is good. Yeah, this is good. Let's actually make a little rotoscope of this water right here and add sparkles into it. That'll be pretty nice. We're gonna go into the texture painting tab. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the UV editing tab. Let's add okay, now let's add our render result right here, and let's switch over to the image editor instead, and now we can add masks and stuff. So there is the render result. Very nice. There is three options now: view, paint, and mask. I'm going to use the mask option, and we're going to create our own mask. If I control click, I'll add vertex and slide, as you can see down there, and this will help me create my rotoscope. So put this vertex right here, control click it there. I can adjust like the fall off, kinda. Control click, just like trace around the edge. Like it doesn't have to be like exactly 100% perfect, but perfection is always appreciated, you know. So yeah, just like you can also move these dots in post, which is also great. So if you misalign it somehow, you can move it back, like go into like really close up. Oops, that is the wrong one. Let's move this right here. This should be the active one. The one you have selected, it will put the next vertex depending upon which was the last one that you selected. Whoops. Another thing, it's gonna be right there. This vertex is gonna go right there. I'm selecting all sorts of different vertices accidentally. There we go, there we go, there we go. Go. Now I'm gonna begin to like speed up. Since I'm so close, I can like not approximate looking at it from afar. I can just click and make a nice mask without too much error. As you can see, there is a lot of noise in this image, if I do say so myself. If we switch over to the viewer node, imagine, oh my god, look at it, it's miles better. It's legit miles better. And I'll actually leave it at this. You can see the difference it makes to go through the extra step and denoising your image. This is your base image, denoised image. Look at that, everything is more smoother and more clearer and more amazing. This needs to be a little bit up right there. Oh, right there. This needs to be a little bit down. Right there. Beep. Oh, that's the wrong one. Again, same mistakes. It's kind of a tedious work, but you can skip through this part in the video if you have you know, time controls, obviously. But this is like essential rotoscoping. Again, I'm reminding you, this is control clicking. Left control, I'm holding it and I'm clicking, and it is creating this mask. Okay, there we go. We've hit our harsh edge. I think we're going to be starting to loop back around. Okay, we are like 75% done. Boom. Just like almost there. Come on, it's so close. It's like, yeah, it's so close. It's about to be done, guys. We're about to be done with this amazingly interesting part of rotoscoping around this image. It's a thing every VFX artist has to do one way or another. You're gonna need to rotoscope for effect someday. You know, someday, till like background separation technology is invented, till that day when you can like automatically separate background based on depth, like a green screen. Like you have different elements of that. I'm pretty sure Apple does that in like their phones to some extent. They have, my father showed me a trick. It was like a stage light trick. It basically green screens you out without any green screen. I think it has like a depth sensor extra added in it, which allows it to do it, and it makes it black. Which is it's a pretty nifty effect actually. It's very impressive how Apple are able to do this. I mean, they are like one of the most superior powerhouses of technology. After all, I can't say I'm really like that shocked. It's kind of expected from them. Why doesn't my $1,000 iPhone come with an unnecessary background detection system? Of course it should. Well, what am I paying $1,000 then for? What? It's a sleek design. It's extra storage. It's available in all the other phones. What stands this apart? Gotcha. Animojis and depth sensors. Absolutely. There we go. We have completed our mask. If you want, you can actually, this is actually perfect. This is masking out completely like perfectly. There we go. We have our mask right now. It's called mask. If we go back into compositing, we can add in a mask node, and if you select this, there is a mask right there. If you take a look at it, you can see it is masked out, unlike which we traced. It's amazing. I know it is amazing. Yes. So to create the shimmering effect, actually I'm not gonna do this with the noised image, the denoised image right now, because it takes way too much time to render like again and again, composite again and again. So what do we have to do? Basically we have to separate this lake water. We need to do the glare effect, and then we need to add it back on top of the our mountain image. Basically that's about it. Okay, so we take this image, we're gonna go through alpha over node. We're gonna connect this image down here. If we take a look at it from this angle, if I put the factor in there as the mask, we have effectively separated the water out, which is great. We can now proceed to add in a glare node, like so. Instead of fog glow, make it streaks. Yeah, there we go. It's like streaking and all whatnot. And then just, I think this will work if I like duplicate the alpha over node. That's the duplication of the glare node. Duplicate the alpha over node, put the image on top of that. Yeah, put this image on top of that is absolutely wrong. Wait a second. There we go. Put this image on top of this image. Do we have streaks? I think we do. And can I put it as this as a mask as well, like a inverted? It's not giving the streaks now. If I invert it, will it do this? Oh, that looks horrendously weird. We can actually add some like dilation, dilate, erode, like right there. We can set it to feather and feather out like 15 pixels. If you take a look at the mask now, you can see it has been there's feathering going on here. It's dilating it. That's what it means. Dilate, erode. Haha, ho ho, hee hee. So we are basically using the mask to extract this out of the image. We are applying streaks of glare at it. We can even actually add a key, not a channel key, like just a key, color key. Key color is going to be this. I don't think that's the okay, what the hell? Why is it creating this weird border? Key, color key, difference key, keying, just keying. There we go. This is a good node. Image. Select this. Let's take a look at that. Matte edges. This is all great. Key color. This. Key color. This. It is taking out everything like off the water. Huh. Interesting. We can actually take a look at the matte. We can take a look at the edges. We can do stuff like edge kernel, which fortifies the edge a lot. It like it makes the edge a little bit more solid, but this is not really working out for us. I think I'm gonna ditch the keying idea. Okay, so we have the glare. We have the alpha over. This is going to go in here, and that's gonna go out, and this is gonna go there. Slice this off. We do not need this mask again and again. There we go. I think it is yeah, I think it is done, because if we just take a look at this, yeah, it doesn't have any difference whatsoever. Jesus. Let me figure this out. Just give me 1 second, guys. Guys, I figured it out. Basically what's happening is that the luminancy of the mountain with the comparison to the river water, when I was putting the glare streaks on it, was exactly the same. It was actually changing, so our rotoscope was not complete garbage. But what was happening is that they were at the same brightness level, so they were blending in so seamlessly, we could not tell at all if there was any streaks being happening. And also, the water is not streaking at all. Only the tops of the mountains are reflecting are, because the water is actually having zero roughness. So technically there's no light bouncing, like there is no refraction. I don't know why it's streaking. It's not streaking, but that's what the explanation tells me, at least anyways. We can increase the threshold of these streaks a little bit, like 1.5. Why is my fan going berserk? I do not know. We need to control the threshold of the streaking in like a very tasteful manner. Jesus Christ. It wasn't doing that at all before. Now it's starting to squeak, which is absolutely fantastic. But there we go. We have removed the streaks. If you want, you can do some color balance. You can go and there's a color correction, color balance. There's a lot of different nodes. Use color balance for the correction. Also, another thing, if you're going to use color balance for color grading, change the correction formula from lift gamma gain to offset power slope. I have noticed that complements the filmic style of color management very nicely. Filmic is basically a high dynamic range image. What is dynamic range? Dynamic range is basically the different stops of light that any sort of device which captures images can perceive. For example, like a cheap compact plastic camera is like 7 something f-stops. Alexa, the like amazing camera, it has like 17, 15 f-stops, and our human eye is the best. It has 20 f-stops, which is amazing. So high dynamic range is basically higher color depth. I mean, sorry, not higher color depth. It's just differentiating in areas of different brightness. It helps you to greatly differentiate between that. So if you look at this image on like an OLED monitor, if I export in the OpenEXR format, it'll actually look better, which is great. So use offset power slope. That's a better correction formula. Yes, that's what I wanted to tell you. And now we are going to denoise it again. Noisy image, denoising normal, denoising albedo, and we're going to take a look at it. Gonna take a long time. Boom, there we go. So thank you guys on our journey to make a semi-realistic stylized mountain in Blender. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and many of my failures that I had in between, because I do not prepare beforehand the tutorials. This is a learning journey for me as well as you, because I am a beginner as well to some extent. Well, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.